Welcome to Math Plus, where math makes sense. In this video, we're going to learn how to write numbers from word form or written form to expanded form. And then we're going to talk about why we actually need to do this. Here's a quick review of the three different types of forms. When we talk about standard form or number form, that's when the digits are written out. So that's the number 136. Word form is when it's all written out using words. Now, I want to specifically in this video talk about using this word and. I'm going to advise you right now, this is written as 136. I don't want you to say that when you look at whole numbers. We're going to use that when we talk about decimals, and you'll understand that by the end of the video. So when we see it in word form, I want you to say 136. Expanded form is when we expand it out and show the value of each number. And again, we'll talk about why we want to do that. So why do we need to use expanded form? Expanded form helps us to see the value of each digit in a number. A digit doesn't always have the same value, and its value depends on where it is located. And a lot of times we use a place value chart, which we'll do in just a moment. But I want to really emphasize how when I move a number, it actually changes the value. So right here, I have 156. What if I put that 6 at the beginning? Now that 6 has a value of 100 instead of a value of just 6, right? Now the value is 600. Look at these numbers over here, 48. My 4 is first, my 8 is second. But what if I swap them? Now it's 84. So each digit, the value depends on where it's placed in the whole number. So that is why we need to really understand expanded form. Here I have the number 5,482. Another thing I want to always emphasize to you to use is your commas. That separates every 3 digits. They have a different value in those sets. As soon as we got to the 5 here with that comma, we're into the thousands, okay? So that 5 has a value. I'm going to look at that. What is the value of just the 5? I'll pull this down. The value of that 5 is 5,000. Now let's look at the 4. The value of just the 4 is 400. The value of the 8 is 80. It's in the tens place. And the value of the 2 is 2. If this is hard for you to remember, just go ahead and place all the digits into your place value chart, and then you can see the value here. Make sure you put your comma after the thousands. Then to write that number into expanded form, we just stretch it out. 5,482 equals 5,000 plus 400 plus 80 plus 3. Let's look at the written form of a number. All you do is read the words. 43,000. I have a comma there, so I know that's my thousands. 627. If you're new at this, I'm not even going to write it down wrong because I don't want you to do it wrong. But if you're new, your instinct might be to write, 43,000. I'm going to write 43,000 and then 600 and then 27. You have to break down every single number. So I'm going to go directly to my place value chart. I want to make sure I do it right. I'm going to write in 43,627. Now I have 5 digits. Every digit has a value individually. And this is where I can come back and pull down my cover over here, right? My 4 is in the 10,000s place. So that is 10,000 times 4 is 40,000. My 3 is in the thousands place. 3 times 1,000 is 3,000. My 6 is in the hundreds place. 6 times 100 is 600. My 2 is in the tens place. 2 times 10 is 20. And then I have my 7 in my ones place. That is broken down. And to write it out in expanded form, I want to write it all out with the equal sign as I did in the previous. Now you see here, 40,000 plus 3,000 plus 600 plus 7 equals 43,627. Use your place value chart if you need to. It's all expanded and it tells me the value of every number. And look, I think I missed one. Did you catch that? Did I miss anything? I heard you shout that out. You said you forgot the 20, and I went ahead and wrote it in. Good catch. You have to make sure, double check yourself. I have 5 digits and I need to make sure I have 5 numbers represented. I want to use this next lesson to show you what happens if I have lots of zeros in my number. And sometimes when there's 6 digits, we tend to think, well, then I need 6 values. But let's look at that. We have this number, 204,036. So let's write that down in our place value chart because that's kind of complicated, isn't it? I know I have 204,000. 204,000, right? Where that comma is. What I put here, there's nothing in the 10,000s place, is there? So we're going to put a 0. 204,000. 36. Well, then I'm going to write the number 36. Look at that. I don't have any hundreds either. So I'm going to put a 0 there. So that's what this number looks like. There's 6 digits. Now I have to expand my 6 digits. My first digit was 2. It's in the 2. It's 2 equals 200,000, the value of that 2. I need to account for the 10,000s. There's a 0 there. So I'm just going to put a 0. The 0 equals 0,000. 0 times 10,000 equals 0, right? Now I have a 4. My 4 equals 4,000. Now look at that. I have another 0 in my hundreds place. So there's nothing there. I have 3 in my tens place. That's 30. And then I have my 6. How do I write that out as an expanded number? Now, some of you might think I'm going to write 200,000 plus 0 plus 4,000. You don't have to do that. If it has no value and it's a 0, then you're just going to skip that. So let's look at the expanded version of that number. It would be 200,000 plus 4,000 plus 30 plus 6. 200,000 plus 4,000 plus 30 plus 6. And that is your expanded form from your written form. Always use your place value chart. You'll definitely not make any mistakes. I want to go over one more number. Remember I said earlier, don't say the word and with your comma. Use it with your decimal. I'm going to put a quick one in here just to show you how we're going to read our numbers. If you're just learning decimals, what I want you to learn from this is that we use the word and when we see a decimal, not when we see a comma. So this number read is 1,450 and 38 hundredths. I'm going to put this in my place value chart. 1,450. Now there aren't any, there's a 0 in the ones place, and 30 and 38 hundredths. If you say and for your commas, it's not wrong. Nobody's going to tell you it's wrong, but it's just not a good idea. Because when we hear the word and, we want to think of a decimal. And just get in the practice of doing that now while you're learning. Let's break this down and get the value of each digit. We're going to take it from the place value chart. My 1 is worth 1,000. My 4 has a value of 400. My 5 has a value of 50. I'm going to put the 0 there just so I know that I recognized that there's nothing in the ones place. My 3 has a value of 3/10. And my 8 has a value of 8/10. Make sure you put a 0.3, 0.08. Now, when I write that number from, actually, we went from standard form, we're going to go ahead and write it like this. 1,450, 1,000 plus 400 plus 50 plus 0.3 plus 0.08, 1,450 and 38 hundredths.